And we are live. Hello, everyone. Shit. Um, anyway.
Shit. Wrong stream.
Shit. Wrong
Wrong.
stream.
Okay.
Wrong stream. No. Are we live?
Mayday.
Are we live?
Mayday.
Hello, everyone. This the first. I'm not good at hosting. No. Okay. First. First
I
Transistors
think that was
production
me.
stream.
Good evening, dear people. Welcome to this first Transister Productions first ever live stream. Good evening, good day, wherever you are.
Yes.
Even if you're in New Zealand.
Even if you're in New Zealand, yeah. Wait. What's wrong with New Zealand?
Nothing.
Aside from
Just
Planner
saying.
Walk, no.
Aside from Play to
Yeah.
Walk, yeah. How are we all
It's
doing
new for
tonight?
some people.
How are we all doing tonight?
They're doing well.
Doing fabulous as per usual.
So,
Yeah, you're saying good evening. I've only been up for about an hour and a half.
well, it's 3:05 here in glorious South Carolina.
It's 10:05 p.m. for me, so
Yeah, I'm just an hour behind you, but I tend to work night shifts, so it's rare for me to be up before noon.
I used to
Oh,
work
that
nights,
makes...
but not anymore.
Gotcha.
Well, I've
Because
actually been pushed into retirement, but yeah, doing the daytime stuff still doesn't work for me. So
Yeah, daytime just doesn't. I'm a night owl myself. I usually stay up till all hours of the night and never sleep. I just never sleep. Look at these eyes.
yeah,
Do you
you know,
see
there's
the
a
sleep in the eye? These eyes.
yeah, there's an Aussie guy from I believe Sydney area, I think, and whenever I stream, I start at 9 p.m. UK, and I believe it's something like 6 a.m. for him, and he still shows up almost every time.
Yeah, okay.
And
I think I know how it works.
yeah, he's a nice owl, but works for him, works for me. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't complain.
Well, I don't have a job, so I don't have to worry about that type of stuff.
Yeah, it can be it can be a massive massive pain in the ass for those of us who don't do.
Yeah, well, I'm disabled, so I doubt you want my disability.
Yeah, I work with disabled people. I do that. I
yeah.
do that for a living. So
Yeah.
I've got a partial disability. I was working part time, but due to the situations with COVID and that, I pretty much had to be fully retired now.
Yeah.
You know, when people got weird about strangers coming into their house, it pretty much killed my job.
that happens.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I've got disabilities too.
So,
So
go ahead.
I guess we some may be wondering as to what the hell are we doing here. So maybe we should tell people what the hell we're doing here.
But this is a Transistors production. It's basically a trans awareness stream. That would be a good classification of it.
Yeah.
We
And
just talk about trans issues and go over stuff that's happening in the world about with trans issues.
I think our viewers are probably aware of us. So you're done. Bye.
yeah, I might have to pop out for another one of these. I've got some beer going on here, and it's running out already, and it's like 7.5 minutes into the live show, and I'm almost out of beer.
Oh God, that's not good. That's how you survive. I mean, if you don't have beer, you can't survive, right?
Yes.
I'm used to that on live streams.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what your preference for beer is. If you're into this, how shall I put this mildly? Um, um, Light American type pilsner that can destroy your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But if you have a high quality Belgian beer, that can do great things to your life.
Well, see, it's like a famous comedian once said. American beer is like having sex in a canoe. It's
Uh
fucking close to water.
huh. Come on, come on, seriously.
What? It
Uh,
is. It is. It's fucking close to water. It's American beer is just. There's no other way of putting it.
I've
Indeed.
never liked beer,
Me
and a
neither.
lot of people have said that it's,
Me
I
neither.
haven't had a good beer because I'm American, but um, I even tried the stuff Aaron Rob brought to the party, and that's no, I just don't like beer.
I like.
You've actually met the man. I don't
Um,
know.
in 2019, when I went down to the Ark Encounter protest, got to hang
Ah,
out with him at the after party.
Oh,
what is he
nice.
like? What is he like in real life? Is he
Oh,
anything
he's
like?
wonderful. He's just a sweet guy.
Is he anything like the ma- the massive dick he can be on his videos?
No, it's very well directed. He's only a dick to people who actually
Deserve it.
seem willfully ignorant.
Uh-huh.
Even people who just have wrong information, he's polite about correcting.
Hmm.
It's only the people who have been corrected a dozen times and still keep trying to preach the same line that he gets annoyed with.
Like Kant
Yep.
Like
and
Kanthoven, yeah.
his son.
Eric Hoven.
Yeah,
Actually, I have heard that Eric Hoven is actually a really nice guy to get along with. It's
yeah.
just his
Okay.
religious views are kind of.
Actually, I have a fan theory, or whatever you want to call it, about Vice Rhino. I heard um, some time ago that Vice Rhino is an anagram from Eric Hovind.
Yes, Vice
It
Reno
is.
said that himself. That's how
Yeah,
he came
Yeah,
up
it
with the
is.
name.
It is.
yeah. I just
You didn't know that?
Okay.
I, I did, but I just wanted some independent confirmation.
Yeah, Vice Rhino is an
I guess.
anagram. Yeah, it's an anagram of Eric Hoven.
Hmm.
Cool.
Well, he never said it publicly until his channel was like 2 years old, so
Hmm.
he kept people guessing for a while.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, we'll just be talking about random stuff here, or when we have a structured show one day, have actual structure to it.
Yeah, actually,
Yes, sure.
if you don't mind, I need to put some light on and I need to get another beer. And you just keep talking, I'll be right back. And I have an idea.
Okay.
Getting beer is fine. Putting lights on, I'm generally opposed to.
Yeah. Lights suck. I prefer it
Yep.
nice and dark.
Oh, you'd like my bedroom then?
I like it nice and dark. I
I,
don't
I only
really like
have
lights.
a little crack of light coming out from the top of the window where I've got the 2 layers of flannel over the window. So at noon, it looks like twilight.
That sounds about like my room. I got shutters on my windows, so you can't even see. You see like little snippets of light coming out, but that's it.
I have another Belgian, this is not another Trappist beer. It's 11.3%.
But yeah, I really don't like beer myself, but I prefer cream liqueur or
Hmm.
mixed drinks. But cream
The,
liqueur
the
is
problem is the problem here in Finland is the price of alcohol. I know it's not as bad as in Norway or Iceland, but this little thing was that's a third of a liter. It was €8. That's about nine and a half US dollars.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
since we're on the subject of
Bit
beer, can I
pricey.
give a plug to a friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beelzebub has started a new channel called The Casual Beer Drinker.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Mostly
okay.
he's reviewing beers from small breweries around Ohio.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
So,
Nice.
yeah, he's only got a couple dozen subscribers, so if people want to check that out.
Okay. What I was thinking about here is the Don't Say Gay bill.
Yeah, we can
I
go
know
into
it's
that.
horrendous. I know it's horrible, but that's something I'd just like to talk about it. Okay, it's
Yeah.
so horrendous. It's so wrong on so many levels. It's just so fucked up, and I'm just sick to my stomach. Okay, just so
Yeah.
sick. While Canada and France are, and I think some states in uh, Australia and then New Zealand are banning conversion therapy, um, making it, basically saying that it's basically
torture.
it's
Torture.
torture,
Yeah.
it's torture and human rights violation.
Yeah. It
And
is.
and meanwhile, in the United States of assholes, you get this type of legislation.
Okay, well, what most
Yeah.
people don't understand about how the American legal system works, I am
Mhm.
sure that virtually everything in that bill is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But they pass these laws anyway because it will hold until somebody can afford the time and resources to take it to court and take it through 3 or 4 levels of appeals before they finally get the law thrown out.
Yep.
Excuse me. There's someone by the username of Sinister Porpoise saying
Sinister
to
Porpoise. Yes, I know her.
yes, saying I'd recommend not sharing your screen. It gives information that hackers might find useful, like you're running Windows 10.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Sinister Porpoise has become somewhat regular in my chats. So
Uh-huh. Also saying trans people are awesome.
Is that better, Sinister?
I think
she
that
has
should
a
be
point
better.
because even if it's showing the other tabs you have open, it can give people information about you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plenty.
that's why I did that right there. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not looking
Um,
at the YouTube, so I didn't see that.
So how is it? I just
But yeah, you've got a point there. Thank you for telling me, Sinister Porpoise.
So I
it's
should
just yeah.
so I should
Anyway,
recommend
these
Pornhub
don't
then.
say gay bill. The don't say gay bill. Okay, it's apparently unconstitutional, meaning federally speaking against the federal constitution. But how, and probably the state constitution as well. But how in the fuck is it possible to make to push through and actually pass
Because
laws that are unconstitutional?
we have these people in office called conservative Republicans
Yes.
who are voted in by bigots essentially who don't
Mhm.
like gay people. And
But
they pass
how can
legislation based on what their constituents want, which is bigotry laws.
but how
Bigoted
it
laws.
just baffles me. How can you do? How can how can a law be in the same one
Yeah.
one type of law be in a book with another text that is presumably precedes it and say and should ban constitution
Yeah.
should ban passing these laws, but yet these laws are passed
Yeah.
It's a
Our
flaw in the
against the
system. Yeah.
state and
our
federal
systems
constitution. How the fuck is it possible?
It's a
How is it
flaw in the
legal?
system that there is no checking,
yeah.
that even
But
when
everyone
lawyers
knows that.
point out to them that these are going to be unconstitutional, there's nothing to stop them from passing them anyway.
Yeah.
How is it possible? I mean, in the European system, it wouldn't be possible to pass legislation that is unconstitutional.
Because our system's fucked up.
Yeah.
The system is broken.
The
It
system's
it
broken.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. When somebody points out to them that this contradicts an existing law, they shouldn't be able to pass it, but there's nothing in our system to prevent it.
Yeah. Also,
Well,
as a sinister porpoise,
even if there was a way of getting through to them, in the sense that that is not possible. Okay, it's unconstitutional, or there's another law that conflicts it. But there's always the possibility that they can change the law that contradicts it, and then once
Yeah.
the contradicting law is out of the way, just yeah. What we did here in Finland, for example, when when our parliament passed the same-sex marriage law in, when was it? It was some years back, 5 years, 6 years ago, I think. Anyway, there were some laws that were contradicting it, like the legislation having to do with family rights.
Just to say about the same-sex
Like that.
marriage, it was legalized in 2017. Is that what you were talking about?
Sorry?
You mentioned same-sex marriage and it being legal in Finland, and it was in
Yes.
2017.
Yeah, 27. Yes, it became law as of March 1st, 2017. Yes, that is correct. But when they were prepping they passed the law like 2 or 3 years previously. Because they had to change. They knew that once they passed this marriage bill, they have to change a number of other bills having to do with adoption, some family legislation, social security, etc., etc. They got a progressive, so they basically they unified, they changed the dependent laws to fit the marriage bill. So if they had similar system, then yeah, that would that's how it works when a law is a law is passed and it contradicts other legislation. But that doesn't
Yeah. Well,
that
the difference
doesn't
is
count.
that
That
the
doesn't
difference
take
is
into account. That doesn't take into account if the constitution or if any international treaty contradicts this bill, it's just not gonna go through.
the difference is, Heidi, that the people running your government are actually concerned with running a government. The
yeah.
people running our governments are only concerned with getting elected and don't give a shit if anything actually
Well,
runs.
they're not concerned with getting elected. They're concerned about their paycheck.
And
That's it.
the conservatives are getting their, as of right now, the conservatives are getting their paychecks in Russian rubles
Yeah, pretty much.
because they can't get the rubles changed.
Yeah.
So,
I can't believe that we actually have sitting members of Congress who are, congratulating Putin.
Yeah.
oh, we're talking about federal Congress or some states.
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both. Our country's all fucked up. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
it. Our country's fucked up.
Our prime minister is a 30 something year old woman. She'll be 37 this year.
God.
And a member of parliament who was kicked out of the most right, furthest right wing party, kicked out of that for being a racist, too much of a racist for them.
Wow.
Was then the other day he was when they had this discussion or question hour for the government by the parliament. He asked the prime minister, lovely, charming lady, asked her that whether or not they would be having some commemorative shit or events for a treaty that Finland signed with the Russian Federation, some collaboration shit 30 years ago. And this dipshit asked our prime minister, how are we going to commemorate this 30 years? And the prime minister, our prime minister Sanna Marin, replied, considering the current state of affairs, I can't see we would be doing anything of the sort. Immediately after that, the chair of parliament stated, no further discussion, matter has been concluded. So she just,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, since we're doing this already, I'm gonna share my screen. With y'all, not with
Yeah.
the crowd right now. Yeah, this one.
Nimrod is saying that the Irish Constitution needs to be rewritten and is not even a century old, and imagines the U.S. should do the same.
God damn it! It does it on that screen too.
Yeah.
If I may share something, where okay, if you'll excuse me, if I'm just this is probably my second time ever using this thing. Okay, so a window. Now I will share you what this badass bitch of a prime minister looks like. Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah, that's a prime minister.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say too much on account of it'd be creepy because she's younger than my daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
37. She's 37 years old, and
Well,
yeah.
since we were talking about the "Don't Say Gay" bill, I just brought up a what you call it, article on it. So
Actually,
you can actually read through it if we want to.
yeah. Actually, I I had this. I actually had a live show about this American type of this American branch or style of transphobia. I think this was hang on a month ago. It was really creepy to do because it's
Oh, and
so
for
weird. It's
Heidi.
so it's a completely new breed, another breed of transphobia. It's not something out of this world.
By the way,
Creepy.
both Purple and Heidi, if you want, you can list your channels in the chat. I think you're a mod here. I'm not sure.
Who? Me? I'm not.
Oh, that will be fixed.
As of right now, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not either.
People.
Well, hold on a second. I'm gonna have to fix that real quick then.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to correct that real quick.
Okay.
Just gonna have to go over here. Gonna have to. Okay. Mod. There we go. Add moderator. And did you, Ivy, say something in the chat so I can mod you?
There we are.
There we go. You two go ahead and link your channels in the chat, and then I can link those in the description later on.
Okay, there we are. In the chat.
Go shove purple runs with orange and Heidi's corner some loving, please. Chat. Subscribe, like, comment, all those good things. Anyway, yeah. Back to what we were discussing. Sorry about that. But yeah, I brought up the Don't Say Gay bill from Florida, which Florida's the worst.
Microraptor saying, "Why can't Bill say gay? That's kind of weird."
Yeah.
Then there's
Yeah.
Rather
Nimrod saying,
selective.
"Microraptor. Maybe he has a speech impediment." Yeah,
Could
could be.
Bill. Poor
be.
Bill.
Could be. Don't say gay, Bill. Bill, why can't they say gay?
I don't know. Actually, in Florida, his buddies might lynch him at the bar for saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, probably. But yeah, on February 17th, a Florida committee advanced a bill that would restrict discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. The bill would ban discussing these issues in primary schools and restrict how they are discussed in other grades if they are deemed not age appropriate. However, it does not specify what will be considered age appropriate or who decides. Any parent could sue their child's school for compensation for alleged harm if they believe the discussions have occurred. The likely outcome of the bill would be to deter teachers from addressing these issues and to chill open discussions and support for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender LGBTQ plus students. The bill would also require school personnel to notify parents of changes in a student's physical, mental, or emotional health. It would significantly limit the ability of counselors and teachers to be a confidential source for students, including LGBTQ plus students who may not feel safe or comfortable asking questions about sexual orientation or gender identity to family members. Gee, I wonder, what's that statistic again? Transgender people being more likely to attempt suicide due to their family members not accepting them?
What I saw was that 40% of transgender people attempt suicide in their teenage years.
I am one of those.
So am I. I tried it twice as a teenager.
Yeah.
I fortunately am not part of those, but I know a lot of people are, and
I remember seeing some figures that said every like 50% of all transgender people attempt suicide at some point in their lives, and more than half have
Yeah.
suicidal thoughts. And these figures are pre don't say gay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering exactly what this will do to teenagers in Florida, for instance, who want to talk about it but can't due to the law.
I think that was part of the reason they were passing it, was they wanted to make sure that they wouldn't be comfortable talking about it.
So they
yeah, because
want more of us.
eventually,
So they want more of us to attempt suicide.
Yeah, apparently yes.
Yeah, I would
apparently
say
we
that's the
disappear.
case.
Apparently we disappear if you don't talk about us.
Yeah, we're anyway.
You know, that's kind of always
Maybe
been my
I think
family's attitude, that if we don't talk about something, it never happened.
it's like what I mean. What just occurred to me is that I'm more than confident to say that these legislators who woo pedal their way into having this law, they were and still are well aware of the statistics, the suicide statistics. because there is no way they haven't been made aware at some point in this process. Would it be that they're just gonna, because they can't put death penalty on being trans, they're just basically what they're attempting to do, perhaps, is just get the all trans people to commit suicide, and then no problem anymore. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
I think that is the hope for some of them, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as them not being aware of it, that's why they have so many staff members, was so that they can be advised on every bill of all the potential ramifications before they vote on it.
Yeah, they I wouldn't expect anyone to claim that they didn't know. They cannot not know. There's no way they do not know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is very, very sad. And I think these the politicians and others responsible for responsible for passing this law should be held accountable
They should be
as
flogged.
as an accomplice to murder,
Yes, they should. Seriously,
Yeah.
they
and
should.
accomplices to murder and bodily harm
Yeah,
and child abuse.
Mhm.
definitely child abuse.
And for every trans person who commits suicide, there should be accomplice to murder,
Yeah, agreed.
or conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah.
I mean, horrible.
Well, let's continue. Human Rights Watch has documented how curricular restrictions harm LGBT youth in U.S. schools. These restrictions not only prevent students from accessing information that's essential to their health and well-being, but sends a discriminatory message that being LGBT is inappropriate or wrong. That message not only stigmatizes LGBT children, but can tacitly encourage intolerance and bullying from peers from a young age. Oh, gee, it also means that basically it what's the wording I'm trying to think of here?
Yeah, they're legitimizing bullying them.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It reinforces the idea that it's okay to bully us,
Yeah.
especially at a young age like that, which they're quite vulnerable at that age. They're more vulnerable than anyone else, really.
And that's
Yeah.
why they should be protected even more.
Exactly.
And preventative measures should be taken. And I mean, these cases should be referred to the child protective services. But unfortunately, the issue here is that the child protective services consider it child abuse if the parents try to help. If the parents
Yeah.
try to go to the child protective services and healthcare to look for help because the kid is suicidal, what do they do? Accuse the parents of child abuse, not
And
the
now,
state.
and now Florida is trying to enact laws making it illegal for children to access to medications that no, it's not just Florida. I think it's
Texas
Oh,
too,
yeah,
Oklahoma recently passed
Oklahoma and Texas.
a very restrictive one that, well, the
the
Oklahoma one,
testosterone blockers and hormone blockers, basically.
Yeah, it's
the
child abuse.
Oklahoma one though
It's been
even
banned
states
already.
the Oklahoma one even states that it is illegal to take a child out of state to get
Yeah.
them the treatment they need.
Yeah.
So how are they going to enforce that it's illegal to move out of the state?
No, I think what that applies to, just thinking, perhaps they in this case what they are thinking is that if a family decides to live in the state, but then just goes out of state to get the pills and etc., and then
Comes
come
back.
back,
Yeah, it comes back. Yeah.
yeah, and then come back to the state in question, and then
Yeah.
after maybe three months goes back to get checked up and new
Yeah.
the
I
prescription
think that
filled.
may be what they were originally intending, but I saw a lawyer reviewing it, and he said the wording was so vague that that would also be covered.
Uh-huh. So
And that's the
basically,
problem
moving
with
out of
these
state is
laws, is that
illegal.
It
that's
worded it
one of
too
the problems
vaguely.
with these, is that the laws are worded so incredibly vaguely that a case would never hold up in court because they
Yeah.
don't have specifics.
But I think the legislators, what they are trying to do here, is to make the law, make the wording big enough so that they can, enforce it as broadly as possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
and also so the politicians can find ways to wiggle out from under it, that when
Yeah.
somebody brings
Yeah,
up a point,
but I think, yeah, as you mentioned, the lawyer saying it wouldn't hold up in court. What they are also doing, the legislators, is that they're shooting themselves in the foot
Yep. They definitely are.
because they don't see the other side. They don't. They just want to enforce it as broad and wide as possible, and then they just don't, give a shit or another thought
Because
to the other side that, okay, maybe if we word it broadly enough, maybe it won't hold up in court.
that's one thing I do like about South Carolina. We tried. Well, South
Mhm.
Carolina, but the tried to pass a law like that once, but it was quickly overturned because they said it's too vaguely worded and it doesn't apply. Basically, there are people who are on hormone blockers because cancer is a thing that exists. And a lot of children that have cancer go on hormone blockers in order to, like, what's the term? Slow the progression of cancer,
Yes.
basically.
yeah. Well, the hormone blockers have been used for many years for lots of other things.
Yeah.
They've also been used for children who just start puberty too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's gonna. I mean, yes, while it because it's quite rare to start puberty so early that is, actually an issue. But okay, it's theoretically, we have seen in medical books, we've seen cases where female children have started menstruating as a toddler, but it's so incredibly rare. But they don't think about these things
No, they
because they
don't.
are not medical professionals, and
Exactly.
their advisors, these legislators, as well as their advisors, are not nearly qualified enough to assess um, these uh, these scenarios. For example, in prostate cancer, that doesn't occur in minors. Okay, well, it can, but it's incredibly rare. I haven't heard of cases of minors of minor biological male children or otherwise with prostate cancer. But uh, for example, a medication called finasteride is used in prostate cancer in large doses, and it's also in used with transgender women to prevent hair loss, the male typical hair loss. So there you go.
Yeah.
And it's also sometimes if I'm not completely mistaken, also used as a testosterone blocker because it has that
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
So how about this these rare, if it's even possible, I don't know, for a minor to get prostate cancer. I guess it is, but incredibly rare.
It is, but it's extremely rare.
Well,
Yeah,
and see,
it's increasingly rare,
Yeah.
but still it's possible. At
that's
least
the thing
in
that
theory. At least in theory, for anyone who has a prostate to
to
have
get these
prostate
bills
cancer.
passed, they had to spread a lot of intentional misinformation
Yeah.
Yeah.
because, well, first of all, hormone blockers don't do
Misinformation.
anything. Hormone blockers don't
Misinformation
do
and
anything
disinformation.
irreversible. You know,
Right.
that hormone blockers just postpone. And once you're off the hormone blockers, normal puberty will take place.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
that
the other thing that
blood
the bill addresses is about no gender affirming surgeries.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I do not think there is an ethical doctor anywhere that would do a gender surgery on someone under 18. It just doesn't
No,
happen.
It doesn't happen. No.
Excuse me. There has been at least one case I know of that a gender reassignment surgery, as in the genital reassignment surgery, was done on a 16-year-old in Germany. But this was just a one-off case.
Yeah.
It was a pop star. It was a pop singer, Kim Petras.
Oh yes, Kim Petras. Yeah.
Yes, but that was a one-off case.
And I
This was like 10 years
adore
ago.
and I adore Kim Petras. Kim Petras is awesome.
Mm.
I love her music.
never heard of them.
Oh, she has great music. She's awesome. I
But
love her.
you know, tell you what. If you haven't had any, if a trans man hasn't had, a trans male hasn't had any surgery, genital in the genital area, if they stop testosterone even after a good while, it's likely that that periods will begin, and
Yeah.
they may be able to conceive a child, and it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
So it's not just even hormone treatment. It fertility, at least fertility may return,
Mhm.
and but it is true that the hormone blockers, if the puberty blockers in particular um, do not really, they just take away.
Yeah, they don't have
They're
any
not
permanent
permanent.
effect.
They're not
Yeah,
permanent.
they're not permanent. They
Yeah,
prevent.
the effects only last for as long as you are taking the medication.
Yeah.
It's like using a condom, you know. I mean,
It's not like the condom stays on whenever you take it off.
Well,
yeah,
it's
but
actually
it
very
works.
much like
It's like a condom. It works as long as you use it.
Yeah.
Once you take it off, it doesn't work anymore.
It kind
Yeah.
of loses its effectiveness.
Yes.
I would have said that it's the same as taking my allergy pills. It just
Yeah.
kind of keeps the symptoms at bay as long as I take them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Nimrod, it's just as bad as saying just pull yourself together or it's all in your head.
Yeah.
I've had that told to me several times. It's all in your head. It's not. You're
Yeah.
not like that.
Well, unfortunately,
I've heard the same. It's just in your head. You're just imagining things.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in a situation between therapists because my insurance decided to stop paying the therapist I had been seeing. So now I'm on a waiting list to find a new one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even find one where I live because I live in bumfuck nowhere in South Carolina. And South Carolina doesn't have the most LGBTQ plus friendly people.
Well, that's why I'm staying with the waiting list because they have a list of a couple of therapists who work through my gender clinic. So, they're people who are used to dealing with all the transition issues.
There's someone, Sir Little Wolf, saying, my dad would say my depression was just in my head.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was told that too. Plenty of times. Oh, depression. You're not depressed. It's all in your head. You don't worry about it.
Technically, it's a chemical imbalance, which is
Well, it
in matter,
is. It
as a
is.
matter of fact, in your head.
It's
I'm
technically
sorry.
yes in your head. However, the way they
Technically, it's in
mean
your
it.
head.
However, the way they mean it is, it's not something that you need to go to a doctor for. It's just something, it's
Yeah, that you
you're
should change your
imagining it.
attitude and it'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let's continue with this article.
Hmm.
In recent years, states like Alabama, Arizona, South Carolina, and Utah all repealed laws that limited discussions of LGBT issues in schools. Similar laws remain in place in Louisiana, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and Texas, while 5 other states allow parents to opt their children out of curricula in which LGBT issues are being discussed. By introducing new laws to this effect, Florida is moving in the wrong direction, and yes, it is. And at least 7 other states are poised to do so as well. Teachers should not fear punishment if they celebrate diversity or let kids know that it's okay to be LGBT, and students should not be cut off from affirming information and support. And I think that's the full article. Yep. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I would point out a slight collation here that the states that are passing these anti-trans bills are, for the most part, the same states that are worried about um, teachers teaching history that actually talks about slavery in the U.S.
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, this reminded me of a voicemail I got for live show that I did on this topic some time ago. I'll just try and dig up this because it was so on point. Um, so on point. Just keep going. I'll try to find it. This is so. It's just so interesting. Okay.
Educational gag orders target speech. Okay, educational gag orders target speech about identities with new prohibitions and punishment. 15 bills under consideration in 9 states, along with sweeping book bans. Wow. It's not a good time to be alive, people. It's really not.
No.
Mhm.
Well, pluses and minuses. A lot of the medical that we're getting wouldn't have been available a few decades back.
True. True.
So, and it does vary from state to state. I'm lucky. I live up near the Canadian border, and there's largely a gradient of the further north you get, the more tolerant people generally get.
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
the further south you go, the more hateful people are.
Yeah, Minnesota people generally have the attitude of if you keep it on your own property, I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
South Carolina used to have a law where oral was strictly illegal.
Okay.
Oral sex
Is that so?
used
Until when?
used to be illegal up until the 1940s or 50s. It's either the 1940s or 50s.
Uh-huh.
Oral sex was illegal.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay. If you'd excuse me, I cannot find it on on my computer because it was yes. Okay. Anyway, if you if you if I may, I would like to play this. I'll just through my microphone. Okay. If I may, it's very on point. A voice message I got from an associate. May I?
Okay, I'm just gonna do it this way because, I don't really know how to get my thoughts out on it. I think it's wrong. I really do. I think that teachers shouldn't be sued.
This is about teachers getting sued in I think it was Arkansas or Oklahoma.
For stuff like that. And you know, if a child is curious about the LGBTQ plus community or religion, anything like that, I think it should be straight up facts that we give the children. Just because we hide it from them or don't teach it doesn't mean it's going away. It means that we're not preparing the children. We're making them ignorant.
Yes, precisely. Ignorant bigots. We're making these kids ignorant bigots if we don't really talk about it, you know?
Yeah, we're just. I can't even right now.
Yeah.
I can't even.
So I think I'll just, it's in 3 minutes in total, I'll keep going.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah.
that whole thing is just a load of absolute bullshit, if you ask me. Interesting enough, a friend of mine told me, now I haven't gotten any paper clippings, articles about this, but supposedly Iowa is going to take away history, essentially. And they're trying to no longer teach about the Trail of Tears and slavery and anything that could make America look bad in a whole. And I'm just kind of sounds.
Is there any do our American correspondents know anything about this Iowa thing?
I don't specifically know about the Iowa, but there is also a bill in Florida that would prevent history teachers from teaching anything that would make any student uncomfortable. Or maybe that one was Texas.
Yeah.
Could be
So
both.
it's like, yeah, you've got a class of 30 kids, and if anything would potentially make one student uncomfortable, you can't mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Trail of Tears, slavery, etc. That was mentioned here. I'll play for a bit.
A bit like North Korea, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to be homeschooling, definitely. Because they're just really taking out what needs to be taught.
Yeah, for real.
Like, how can you not teach about slavery? Or that the white man took the Indians' land and brutalized all the people. Like, me personally, I had no clue that women and children were raped and beaten and killed on the Trail of Tears until I was about 15, because they don't teach us that. They already.
Yeah.
They try to make the white people seem like a good-natured folk and that we just wanted to come together for peace. And
And
if we're teaching straight up facts, then that's how we don't have history repeat itself. And I think definitely in this time, the LGBTQ
could you pause for a moment?
community, they need.
Yes, I have 6 seconds to go, so.
Oh, okay. Let's go then.
Their voices need to be heard too.
Yes, that is it. Thank you.
I just wanted to mention that when you talk about slavery in the U.S., people think of that it was only the Africans.
Yeah.
No,
Which was not at all the case. That, the Native Americans and people from the Caribbean islands were enslaved in huge numbers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we have Peter in the chat. Hey, Peter, how you doing, man?
Hey, Peter Nuttall.
Hi.
Peter saying ban censorship of knowledge. Yes.
Yeah,
precisely.
agreed entirely.
It's also ironic that the people who are passing these things about all the stuff that teachers can't say in a classroom are the same people who are the loudest about screaming about my rights and freedom of,
Yeah.
freedom to speak. And
I have a okay. A lot of conservatives say that trans women aren't real women, right?
How does
Well,
that compute?
huh?
How does that compute?
No, I'm questioning. I'm doing a thought experiment here.
Yeah.
yeah, it is a position a lot of them take.
Republicans/conservatives claim that trans women aren't real women. Okay, then, let's have Kim Petras walk around completely topless in public. See how many of them lose their shit.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have a trans woman walk around in public topless. Would they consider
How does
that
she
to
look these
be?
days?
What would they say about a trans woman walking around topless in public? If she had, say, considerable bosom.
So
Oh,
that's what she looks like these days. I haven't seen a picture of her in several years. If she walked on the streets of Berlin, topless, uh, or in front, having a go at the U.S. embassy in Berlin, topless, what the fuck would they say? Come on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be saying she isn't a real woman anymore. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
But what I could see them trying to argue is the sex chromosomes. But I can tell you that the last time I checked, there is at least a dozen variations
Yeah,
on the human sex chromosomes.
yeah.
I think it was 18 different variations of the human sex chromosomes.
Yeah,
Mm.
there are more than two. There are more than two sexes.
yep.
Scientifically speaking, there are many more than two.
Yes, but what we need to define, get a definition here for is what is a biological sex.
It would be your chromosomes.
I'm yet to find a thorough explanation as to what it actually is.
Most people would say it would be your chromosomes, which would be XX or XY, but they failed to
But
factor
it's not that
in.
simple.
But that's what I was about to say. They failed to factor in all the other different combinations of sex chromosomes that there are, which there are, as you said, 18, if not more, that
So
we haven't
there,
identified.
yes, and that is so. The typical answer would be at least 16 to few. Um, I have been talking about this for a good time, good while to nurse students at my old school. It's really fascinating, and I've been uh, actually I had a debate. I debated this subject 2 years ago on agreed to disagree, and there was some dick. I can't remember where this guy was from. Could have been Swedish. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, he had this. No, but there's only two. There's only two kinds. There's the mankind and the womankind. And there's only X, 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 Y, and then the other ones go on these mankind and womankind. You know that those who are declared female at birth or male at birth, you know, this it was this kind of creationist rhetoric that a kind produces after its own kind. So if if you have you're somehow a variant there were somehow variants of XY and XX. So basically, variation within a kind. And that's the logic how there are only men and women, regardless of the amount of variance in sex chromosomes.
Yeah. I pretty much throw off all their definitions
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because it actually seems I may be a Crimea,
Mm-hmm.
which is someone who may have absorbed their twin intrauterine.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was assigned male at birth, there are 2 lumps in my abdomen that one of my doctors suspected may be undeveloped ovaries.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So it's basically
So
what
I
you're
was
talking
actually
about.
born with both a penis and ovaries.
So basically, you're intersex,
Yep.
or then something that is called fetus in fetu. So basically, conjoined twins, where the other twin is underdeveloped and within the typically abdominal cavity of the other twin, like a parasitic twin.
Yep.
That's that's the thing. Actually, I'm not making this shit up.
Yes.
Nope, it does occur.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely occurs. Yeah.
And even then, like, how many people know their own chromosome? Like, I, for medical reason, happen to be like pretty certain that I have X and Y. I think they would have told me if I didn't. But most people don't. For most people, they don't check that. Yeah, so we don't tend to know our chromosomes anyway. It's usually gender, not sex.
Okay. Yeah, it's curious. All these chromosomal variants. It's super curious. I've
Well, it's thinly veiled. It's just thinly veiled bigotry, really.
yeah,
That's all it is. It's
indeed.
thinly veiled bigotry. And no, I'm not a bigot for hating people who hate me. I am merely intolerant of intolerance.
Yes, yes, that's one way of saying things. Let's put that up. Okay.
Because if you're tolerant of intolerance, then you are in effect intolerant yourself. Because you're basically agreeing with their intolerance. You're tacitly agreeing.
There's Nimrod saying, my ex-girlfriend's dad absorbed his twin in the womb and had to have surgery as a kid to remove the remnants. They fucked up and he now walks weird because of it.
Yeah.
And then Purple rhymes with Orange saying, during the building of Transcontinental Railroad, the Irish suffered as much discrimination as the blacks. Transcontinental.
Transcontinental.
Yes.
The Chinese actually were slaves as well during that time period.
And the Japanese were put in a concentration camp during World War II.
Yeah, that too. We have not been friendly towards non-white people.
Yeah.
If you're brown, we're probably gonna bomb you.
Yeah.
Just look at America's history. If you're brown, watch out.
Yep.
If you're not white, sorry, you're getting bombed. Not saying that to be racist. I'm saying that because America is incredibly racist.
It is our history.
It's our history. It goes all the way back to the founding of America because we Trail of Tears.
Trail of Tears, yeah.
Yep.
Not even just the Trail of Tears. Even Columbus was outright slaughtering people in the Caribbeans before he even stepped foot in actual America.
Yeah.
Because Columbus didn't found America, people. He didn't.
Yeah.
No, there
That's
were
bullshit.
people thousands of years where people were there for thousands of years before
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of years before him.
The Olmecs, the Mayans, the Incans, the Aztecs. Like, holy
Columbus
fuck.
wasn't even the first European here.
Nope.
Yeah.
There's
It
a
was
Viking map. There's a Viking map from the 11th century that shows the
I was
coast of
about
New
to say.
York.
I was about to
And
say
we,
the Vikings. The
there
Vikings were here.
there's plenty of evidence of the Scandinavians being in
Yeah.
North America.
Mhm.
What is now, I think, Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland, and
Yep.
Newfoundland,
Yeah.
and Newfoundland. So there's plenty of evidence.
Well,
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the
And then
things
these dicks, they claim that that Columbus and and Vespucci and people
Vespucci.
were the
Amerigo.
first.
Yeah. Amerigo Vespucci.
Yep.
America Vespucci, yes, but it was the goddamn Swedish.
Yeah, it's the fucking Swedish that founded America, actually. Well,
Yep.
the
Yeah,
first
go
ones
Swedish.
to find America.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should
Right.
tell you something that our country's name is because the map maker put his own name on our continent.
hmm
Yeah. Amerigo Vespucci.
America. Yeah.
and that's the narcissism. That's the narcissism of the great people finding
The great
things.
people.
The great people finding things. Yes.
And the only reason Amerigo Vespucci was looking for it because he thought that the Fountain of Youth was somewhere on the tip of Florida, on the Keys of Florida.
On the tip
Compare
of
yourself.
Florida.
On
In
the
his
Keys,
state.
yes, the Keys.
Oh, I thought you said the tip.
No, the Keys. Basically, there are
The
tiny
Keys.
islands right outside of Florida, and that's where he thought the Fountain of Youth was.
Yeah.
And he was searching for the fountain. That's the
Yeah.
whole reason he found America was because he was searching for the Fountain of Youth.
And
I've always wondered where that Fountain of Youth thing got
Hmm.
started from, of why the
Yeah.
Europeans thought it would be here.
Yeah,
I don't know. Peter Nuttall says, "I am ashamed to be a white cis male sometimes."
yeah.
Oh, poor Peter.
Thank
There's,
you.
it's like being a white cis male. It's like having having a penis and being white cis male is fine. It's like a religion. It's like religion as long as you just don't smack it around other people's faces. It's completely fine, and it's fine to
Yeah.
be proud of it.
As long as you don't try to shove it down people's throats, you're fine.
Unless they consented first.
Without their consent, at least. If they consent to it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Remember, always remember,
Okay.
ask for consent first before
Yeah.
shoving your
So-
religious dick down people's faces. Face holes.
Sir Little Wolf says, "Why would I hide my balls? Oh, the toy ones."
Yeah, the context there is I said that the little wolf found America and thought it would be a great place to hide my balls and squeaky toys.
Yeah. Well, I do have to try and hide my balls because, the lump in the dress just looks wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Same here. Well, that's why I usually try to wear loose-fitting skirts. That way, it's not as detectable.
Yep. And Nimrod says the British Isles should be Celtic Isles, but the damn Brits made the maps.
Yeah.
And Sir Little Wolf says Peter will love you, and Peter says I love everybody. Well, there we go. Sir Little Wolf says, I know a few that would consent to me.
I would.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, me too.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Vikings tried to make the British Isles part of Scandinavia. They just resisted too much.
Yeah. They just try. Scandinavians tried to push too hard on the pickled herring.
Your spark up, bro. Wow.
And probably the last bit was the fermented herring, surströmming.
For the record, I joke about it a lot because the mother's side of my family is Scandinavian. And I suspect if you could trace it back far enough, there'd be some Vikings in there, but I can't go back more than 5 generations, so I can't say for sure.
Well, I went back around. My grandfather was, well, okay, I'll preface this with I used to be a Mormon.
Oh my.
And my grandfather was actually, well, for one, he was quite liberal, which blew my mind because most Mormons are conservative as hell, but he was quite the liberal, and he was the head genealogist at the branch that I went to. And you know what a genealogist is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For those that don't know in the chat, a genealogist just looks into people's, history and stuff, finds family
The
lines,
family history.
family history,
Family
yeah.
lines.
And he went back around 8 generations and found both my family lines tied back to Ireland, Scotland, Germany, and Wales. So I have
The
Irish,
British Isles.
yeah, the British Isles. So I have Irish, Scottish in me as well as German, Welsh in me. So I am the whitest person you know.
Okay. There are these family research thingies where you send in your DNA sample. So my mom had the good idea of doing some stuff for us too, and my test results said finish 100%. And finish meaning 150-ish kilo 150-ish kilometers around the Finnish land borders. So
Yeah, well, where my great-great-grandparents came from, Sweden or Russia, depending on which decade.
mm-hmm.
And that's the current news is a little personal because the reason we're here is the Russians decided to move back the border. So the people decided that they would take everything they could carry and burn the town to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I can't trace anything back more than 5 generations.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, that's what happens to my grandma and her extended family during during the Second World War. They had to leave everything, and now it's occupied by the Russian Federation.
Damn
But
Ruskies.
but that family line is being traced back for hundreds of years.
Okay.
It's been yeah. Oh, now it's actually been. Now that I look at the map, this is the version 3. It's been extended quite far. Origin 100% Finnish Finland, but now it extends to the Kuala. What is that? Like Murmansk area, etc. Like
Kuala Lumpur?
no, the Murmansk area in
Oh.
northern Russia.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. And see, that's another thing about the Russian-Ukraine
The
thing.
The Kola Peninsula in English.
About the
Ah.
So it's 100 kilometers away. So
I hate jumping to another conversation, but it just
Mhm.
reminded me of the Russian-Ukraine thing.
yes,
Mhm.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If really, because I've heard a lot of conservatives say, "Oh, Russia's just reclaiming, what was theirs at one point," and I'm like, "Yeah, Texas used to be owned by Mexico. How would you
Yeah.
like it if the Mexican army just decided, oh, hey, we're gonna retake Texas?" And if, say, the
Mhm.
Mexican army was stronger than us,
Yep.
would they agree with Mexico coming and taking Texas back?
Yeah,
You would
2/3 of
not.
Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and a third of California were once part of Mexico.
Yeah. Would they be fine with Mexico coming back and taking over that, part of America? Would they just give up the land, willingly and say, oh, here, it used to be
No.
yours, so here, take it?
Nope. 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 Nope.
Or if, say, Russia decided to say, come and take Alaska, since Alaska used to be Russian territory,
Yep.
and they gave it to us for $1.
Well, and that's why the Ukrainians are fighting so hard. They have lived under the Russian rule before. They're not
Yeah.
willing to let it happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah. When
they
was
tasted
it in
freedom.
'91 that the union broke?
1991, 1992, something like that.
Yeah.
It depends on how you put it. If it's like de jure, or if it's like
Yeah,
in practice. In practice, it fell long before, but it was 1991.
it wasn't that long ago. Like
And partially
a lot
30
of
years, 30 years
Ukrainians
ago.
still remember it.
the reason I
Yeah.
bring that up because Russia is abysmal on LGBT issues.
No
Yeah.
shit, Sherlock.
Yep.
They are even worse than America is because they actually lock trans people up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite spicy going to Russia. I've been to Russia after coming out.
Oh,
So yeah, I've been to
really?
St. Petersburg, and it was quite spicy at the border. At the border going in, it was super spicy going.
I could imagine.
Mm.
The border guy was a middle-aged white cis male, presumably straight, and he was looking at my papers and my documents and the computer and the boat ticket, the ferry tickets and everything, for 5 minutes, and it was just so spicy. And the thing is that it was a day trip, so we didn't need a visa. So I mean, if we had a visa from the Russian embassy here in Finland, it would have been a different story. But
Yeah.
if I just showed up the port, then he would probably have to let me in if the Russian embassy had already cleared me. But it was quite spicy, whether he'll let me in or I'll have to stay on the boat the entire day.
Nope, not even letting you in. Nope,
Yeah.
don't even bother.
Yeah, but it was all fine.
That's good to hear.
It was all fine. So I was already legally female, so I had the gender marker in the passport,
Sorry.
all settled
Just
in.
adjusting. Just adjusting my leg. You're okay.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize my mic was still on. I just talking to my kitty.
Uh-huh.
He has
Aw.
been sleeping on my leg, and I had to move my leg because it was cramping.
Oh.
Mm.
Well, we have been going for about an hour and a half, and plus it's probably getting extremely late for Heidi and Microraptor, so
It's 23 past 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, just if I may.
yeah.
Hey Google, tell me a joke.
Why are football stadiums so cool? Because every seat has a fan in it.
Oh God, no.
Very much a dad joke, yes.
Yeah, that's very much a dad joke. Yeah, let's say we start wrapping up a little bit.
Yeah, that is it. And I think next time we will have more of substance to our dear viewers.
Well, I mean, I think we did pretty good
You
for a
mean
first
Mhm.
stream.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
you mean we'll have homework?
We'll have an actual structure,
Yes,
Mhm.
structured content.
structure,
Oh.
content, all that kind of good stuff.
I don't know. If you start doing things with structures and plans, I don't know if I can be part of this anymore.
How is that? Is that a problem for you?
I've never done really well with structures and schedules.
Me neither.
Yeah. You always in your streams are awesome, but they're never about the thing that you actually named them.
Tell you what, having Asperger's syndrome myself, I'm all about structure and schedules and shit. So living
I'm
without
autistic.
without structure,
I'm-
living without structure would be just hell for me.
Yeah, I'm known for running 5 and 6 hour streams that only stay on topic for the first 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. But they are fun streams.
I'm autistic as well. I think all of us are. Like, goddamn.
I'm not.
Well, except
Yeah.
for
I'm
Micro.
not.
Yeah, maybe Micro.
There is a
but-
big crossover I've found between the trans and autistic communities.
Actually,
Oh, yeah.
it's autistic people are 3 to 6 times more likely. Autistic people are 3 to 6 times more likely to be transgender.
Okay, I'd never
Yeah.
seen a statistic on it. I was just
I
anecdotally noticing
will
it.
find you the live show I've actually had about it.
I
Okay.
feel like that kind of makes sense that like if both autistic people and then trans people are like they're different in some way, and I get to think about that a lot, and you're like,
Yeah.
you notice it in ways you are different, and it might be easier to notice. Yeah.
Well, in both cases, there's something about the brain that's wired a bit differently at birth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will post it in the chat, in the stream chat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. There we are. I'll post it in our chat too here. Okay, there.
Cool.
So
Okay, I'll have to watch that later tonight.
Yeah.
that was an interesting one to make. It's that was quite a while ago, but that one, yeah, gender dysphoria and autism spectrum. Yes, that was on. Yeah, last year.
What should I play us out on tonight? Why not? In your zone.
Yes. It was a year ago. I made that, I think. Oh, I have one new subscriber. I think.
That
Yes.
was me. I went to it and realized I was not subscribed to your channel.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Or I may have been subscribed and YouTube decided to unsubscribe me. That's happened to me
Uh-huh.
about
That
3 dozen
happens.
times.
That happened to me with
Yeah.
FTFE once.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder how many other channels I was subscribed to that I'm not aware I'm not getting notifications from anymore.
No, that literally happened to me with FTFE. I mean, I was subscribed to him since he like pretty much started, and I watched like all his live streams, but yet YouTube decided to unsubscribe me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's some bug in YouTube. I've heard many people mention it. That channels they knew they were subscribed to, when they went to a link, they saw they weren't.
Because I was wondering that night, because I went to one of, because it wasn't telling me he was live, and the only reason I realized he was live was because it was on his Discord, and I was like, well, why isn't YouTube telling me? And I look, and the subscriber button was red, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, seriously?
Yeah, really weird when that.
So yeah, you need to look out for that if you're subscribed to people. YouTube will randomly unsubscribe you from different channels, so make sure you stay subscribed. But yeah, and I guess we'll say good night then.
Yeah. Good night.
Night.
Oh shit!
Good night, all.
That should not be on the chat.
No.
That should not be on
Whoa. That's trippy.
Yeah. I hate it when it does that. Yeah. Where's the outro? There.
Anime. Okay.
Ah.
That was it then.